Have you ever wondered what goes through an animal's mind in its final moments? They can't speak. They can't write. They can't tell us what they feel. But that doesn't mean their minds are empty. For a long time, humans believed that animals lived only in the present. As if every day started from zero. As if they were simply biological machines driven by instinct. Science has shown that idea was wrong. Many animals possess astonishingly complex memories. They remember places. They remember paths. They remember voices. And above all, they remember individuals. Elephants can recognize members of their family after decades apart. Crows can identify a specific human face even years after seeing it for the last time. Dogs can wait for years, hoping someone who will never return finally comes home. That means only one thing. Their past still exists inside them. Even if we cannot see it. But then an even more disturbing question appears. What happens to all those memories when an animal is about to die? Scientists still don't have a definitive answer. However, there are fascinating clues. Researchers studying the brain have observed that, in humans and other mammals, enormous bursts of neural activity can occur just before death. Studies led by researchers such as Dr. Jimo Borjigin at the University of Michigan found that the brain may display an unexpected surge of activity during its final moments. As if, for a few seconds, it were operating with extraordinary intensity. We don't know exactly what that means. But it raises an intriguing possibility. Perhaps the final seconds are not simply darkness. Perhaps they are one last flash. One final review. One last journey. Tonight, when the sun goes down, you will flip a light switch. You won't think about it. It will be an automatic movement. Yet your brain will coordinate millions of neurons to perform that seemingly simple action. The same thing constantly happens inside an animal's brain. Even though it cannot speak. Even though it will never write a single word. Memory doesn't need language to exist. Octopuses remember how to open containers. Rats learn complex mazes and can remember them for long periods. Dolphins recognize the unique whistles of other dolphins even after more than 20 years apart. Animal memory is not an inferior version of ours. It is different. Adapted for survival. To find food. To avoid danger. And to maintain social bonds. Because remembering another individual can mean the difference between life and death. Roughly 1 in every 10 humans is left-handed, and that proportion has remained remarkably stable for at least 500,000 years. At first, that fact seems completely unrelated. But it reveals something important. Evolution preserves what proves useful. And memory is one of evolution's greatest tools. An animal that remembers where it found water is more likely to survive. One that remembers a dangerous predator will probably live longer. One that remembers who helped it also improves its chances. That is why memory evolved again and again. Not as a luxury, but as a necessity. Then another question emerges. If animals can remember throughout their entire lives, what do they experience when those memories disappear forever? Nobody knows. Yet some behaviors are difficult to ignore. Elephants return for years to places where members of their family died. They gently touch the bones. They remain silent. Then they continue their journey. Primatologists have also observed that chimpanzees and other great apes sometimes stay beside the body of a dead companion for hours, or even days. We don't know whether they understand death exactly as we do. But we do know they react in surprisingly similar ways. Grief may not belong exclusively to humans. It may be far older than our own species. We invented sunscreen because our own sun is trying to kill us. Nature never promised to protect us. It simply allowed those who adapted to survive. And that includes the brain. An organ designed to remember whatever increases the chances of staying alive. Not to discover the truth. Not to make us happy. Only to help us survive. That is why our strongest memories are often linked to fear, to pain, to loss, to danger. Because forgetting those experiences could mean repeating them. And repeating them could cost a life. Now imagine the final moments of an old wolf, or a horse, or a whale. Its heart slows down. Its breathing changes. Its neurons begin to shut down. But perhaps, for a few brief seconds, its entire past returns. The scent of its mother. The place where it was born. The sounds of its group. The first danger it ever escaped. We have no proof that this is exactly what happens. But we have no proof that it doesn't. And that uncertainty says a great deal about us. For centuries we believed only humans possessed complex memories. Science has slowly dismantled that belief. Every year we discover new cognitive abilities in species we once considered simple. Perhaps the difference between us and them is not as great as we imagined. Perhaps it is only a matter of degree. And if that is true, then the question is no longer what animals remember before they die. The real question is something else. If memory is what builds a life, what truly remains of any of us after the final memory disappears?